Just a touch of your love is enough to knock me off of my feet. Oh, just a touch of your love, just a touch of your love.
Hi guys, good evening. My name is Kim and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I would like to share with you on how to apply a visit visa in the UK. But first, I would like to give you a little background of the relationship of my husband and me. Okay, let's start. My husband and I has been in a long-distance relationship for nearly 4 years before we started to apply for his first visit visa in the UK. Second, my husband is an OFW in Saudi Arabia and we only see each other based on his holiday. Now, let's proceed to the first question that comes to your mind. But first, I would like to show you that I'm going to read all the requirements on my iPad because it's hard for me to memorize all the content of these requirements, and together that I'm doing vlog as well, it's very difficult to just memorize everything in just an hour. So what I'm going to do is read this to you, but this is based on my own research. Okay, let's proceed to the first question. This is a common question. Who is your sponsor? Well, to start this guide, a sponsor can be anyone who is a legal resident in the UK. It can be your family, friend, boyfriend, or girlfriend. It is not required that he or she is British, as long as that he can provide or she can provide proof that they are a legal resident. Second question, what if I don't have a sponsor? Well, good news, because you can still apply for a tourist visa in the UK even if you don't have a sponsor, as long as you are able to cover the cost of your trip and that you have a strong ties back to your home country and that you don't overstay in the UK. Next question, what visa do you need? Well, you need to log on to www.gov.uk and then check your visa. All you have to do is click your nationality and your purpose of traveling to the UK once that you're on that website. I will link below on my description box the website of www.gov.uk where you're going to apply for the visa. Next, when and where to get your UK visa? Well, it's depend on where you are, on what country or where you are, or well, it's depend on what country you came from. If you are from Riyadh, you can Google the BFS Global Riyadh and you can find any of their offices that is nearest to you. And for the Philippine applicants, they can visit either the BFS Manila or BFS Cebu. Next question, what is the processing time? Well, the regular processing time for a tourist visa is 5 working, well, it's not 5 working days, but it is 15 working days. Sorry for my mistake. But you can apply as early as 3 months before your intended flight. I just want to make clear that the processing time is 15 working days, or it can be more if your application is complicated. But if you have a very straightforward application, it can be done after 10 days or 14 days. It's depend. Next question, how much is the cost for the visa? A standard visitor visa costs £93. But if you want to get your visa faster, you can pay extra. For you to know how much is the extra cost, you can visit the BFS Global and I think www.gov.uk for all the detailed pricing, because I'm not too sure if they already changed the pricing. Next question. How long you can stay? Well, as soon as you get your visa, you can stay in the UK for 6 months. And after that, you need to go home back to your country. Now, we're finished with the common question of visit visa in the UK. Let's proceed now to the requirements. Okay, now I have here again on my iPad the list of the requirements. First, I want to make clear to everyone that this list of mine is based on our experience and may apply to the applicants who is currently based in UAE and Saudi Arabia. But some of the requirements can also be used for standard visit visa requirements for the other country. First, for the applicant's document, I have 3 categories here. First, applicant documents. Second, sponsored documents. Third, the proof of relationship. So I am going to talk about, I'm going to talk about first the applicant's document, which is the documents of my husband, the documents that he needs to provide. First is the application form. This application form can be found after you have completed the online application on www.gov.uk. You need to make sure that you fill in the correct form and then download them and print them after you pay for everything. Why? Because there's no comeback for it as long as you click the submit button. Second, proof of payments. You need to print this proof of payments and bring this to the BFS Global along with all the rest of your documents. Next, appointment booking. Now, you need to make sure that after you fill in the form and pay for the visa, you must book an appointment to BFS Global. Next, you need to pass an applicant's 2 passport photos. Now, you need to make sure that you follow the guidelines of the photo requirements for the UK because they have a standard photo guidelines. You can find everything in that www.gov.uk website. Next, you need to include as well the new passport and old passport. For example, my husband, he's got an old passport and the new passport. He needs to bring all of those passports together with all his documents. Next, ICAMA. ICAMA is only applicable to applicant who work in UAE and Saudi Arabia. If you're not coming from those countries, you can opt out this requirement. Next requirement, the form ACU07 and /12, which is called the sponsorship form. This form can be found in that website again in the www.gov.uk. You need to make sure that your sponsor signed that very important document. And then next, if you have a sponsor, you need to provide an invitation letter from that sponsor. Or if you don't have one, you can remove these requirements. Next requirements is the itinerary of travel. Some of you don't include this, but we include this to our application. Next one is travel budget. We need to make sure, for us, me and my husband, we need to make sure that he had a travel budget. because the reason that we did this is because the checklist of BFS Global in Riyadh is very different from the website. Now guys, you need to, aside from reading all the requirements from that BFS that from that www.gov.uk, you need to do a lot of research as well, because BFS Global, they have different checklists. If you type on Google your country you came from, you can find out what are the other requirements that is not on the UK website. Next is your return flight details. Now, there is an argument with this, because based on the British website, you don't need to have you don't have to book a flight. But for me, I booked the flight for us to make sure that it's only one application, because we don't want to have a rejected application after this. All I did this is I want everything sorted out as soon as possible. Travel insurance. For the travel insurance, it's up to you if you want to put a travel insurance, but we need to get a travel insurance for the purpose of this application, because the BFS in Global asking my husband to provide a travel insurance, especially that my husband is not from Saudi. He is from the Philippines. Next is hotel booking, if you have one. But if you have a sponsor and you have the accommodation, you don't have to put hotel booking. You just have to explain it to your letter that the accommodation is provided by your sponsor. Next is your proof of employment. Now, for your proof of employment, you need to provide a letter from your employer. But if you're applying from let's say Saudi or UAE, you need to make sure that your letter of employment is signed and stamped by Chamber of Commerce. I don't know what it is, but on the checklist from the BFS Riyadh, they put it there. I think it's on the last part, that make sure that your letter of employment is signed and stamped by the COC or the Chamber of Commerce. But this is only based on Saudi Arabia applicant. But I think the rest of the other country, they don't have this kind of rules, so I think you'll be exempted. Next, proof of financial capacity. Well, what are the proof of financial capacity? Well, it includes the bank statement, if you have one, your payslip, and then, or a bank certificate, or if you are a land or a condominium owners, or car registration. Why we need the proof of financial capacity? Well guys, it is a visit visa, so you need to provide proof that you are able to afford the cost of this travel, and that you don't need become that you don't become a problem with the UK government. Next is I think that's all. Well, yeah, hang on a minute. I forget to tell you that my husband is an OFW, right? Well, because he is an OFW, all his accommodation is paid by his employer. So we need to ask for a letter of, what you call this, confirmation of his accommodation, because I think one of the requirements is that, when I said that you need to make sure that you have a strong ties back to your country, meaning that it is a proof that you're not going to overstay in the UK. But because he doesn't own a property in Saudi, he needs to provide a letter that is a proof, or a signed letter that is a proof of his accommodation, and it said there that he is free with his accommodation. Now, if you have a sponsor, this is the documents that you need to pass together with the applicant's document as well. First is, you need the photocopy of sponsor passport. Now, aside from that, you need to get from your sponsor as well the 6 months bank statement, and then 6 months payslip, and then their P60. This is only applies for the applicants who have a sponsor. They need the P60 and the accommodation letter signed and confirmed by the owner, and then photos of the accommodation, then billing statement like council tax bill, water bill, electric, and gas statement. Now, the third and the last one is the proof of relationship. You need to provide, of course, your marriage certificate and photos together. This is only for the people who apply for a tourist visa who has a sponsor. Like mine, I am the sponsor of my husband, so I need to provide the marriage certificate and the photos together to make sure that, that to make sure, or like to prove that he is my husband. Because I think on the application we said that he's going to visit my wife. So because he said that he's going to visit his wife, he needs to provide the marriage certificate and our photos together. Hopefully, guys, I didn't confuse you. But if you want a clear one, a shorter one, or a standard visitor just for yourself, let me know and comment below so I can make a different one that is not based on my experience. Hopefully, you find this vlog helpful for you. I will link down below the website for the UK embassy and the BFS as well. Thank you.